the ratio of the number of red apples to the green apples was 3:2. Amber sold 10% of the red apples and 25% of the green apples. What percentage of the apples did she sell? Okay, Audrey, Manan, Olivia, correct. Okay, so first we have the ratio of red to green. We write down the ratio of red to green, which is 3:2. Then, for the red apples, Amber sold 10%. Okay, so you have percentage, but I want to express it in terms of ratio. So 10% means 10, you have a 10, you have 100. But what's the 10 referring to? What is the 100 referring to? 10% of the red were sold. So for the 10, it will be the red that is sold. For the 100, it's the total number of red. Okay, so as with ratios, you want to simplify first, make the numbers as small as possible. You get 1 to 10. Then she also sold 25% of the green apples. So the number of green apples that's sold to the number of green apples will be 25 to 100. So from here, we will simplify. This will get 1 to 4. Now, what are we supposed to do? You have ratio. As long as you have more than one set of ratio, you must always try to find common base. So what is the common base between all three ratios? Look at the first two ratio. The common base is the total number of red. Right? The total number of red here is 3 units, but the total number of red apples here is 10 units. They represent the same thing. So you must make that the same number of units. Okay, so we find common multiple of 3 and 10, which is 13. Okay, so this one you times 10 times 10. This one you times 3. So here times 3. That's your first common base. Then how about this one? So this one, it will have the same common base as the first ratio, which is the total number of green apples. So the total here is 20 units, but the total here is 4 units. So you want to make it the same by changing this 4 into 5. Sorry, I mean 20. You times 5 to get 20. So here is 20, here is also 20. Okay, then question is asking what percentage of the apples did she sell? Okay, if you're not sure like how to find, if the word percentage itself like scares you, right? Then you just think, what fraction of the apples did she sell? So you look for what she sold, which is the red and green, 3 and 5. So the total units sold is 8 units. That's the 3 and the 5, right? So what fraction of all the apples were sold means you need to know what's the total. So what is the total number of apples? You're not going to add like 30, 23, 35, 20, no. The total number of apples is basically the total red and total green, which is 30 plus 20. Okay, so the total is 30 units plus 20 units, which is 50 units. Then we find the fraction, which is the sold over the total. But the question is asking for percentage. So if you want to change a fraction into percentage, you need to multiply by 100%. Okay, so the fraction is 8 over 50, then times 100%. So if you are doing this, if this is like a paper 1 question, right, how do you do this without calculator? The 50 and the 100 can be simplified. So because the 100 is like 100 over 1. Okay, imagine it's 100 over 1. So the denominator and numerator both divide by 50. So this is a 2. It becomes 8 times 2, which is 16%. Okay, if there's any questions, please let me know. You can unmute yourself or you can type in the chat. Let me know if you have any questions or you need me to repeat anything. Okay, if not, you can key in your answer for question 2 first. If you have your answer for question 2, you can key in the chat for me to check. Clara, Audrey, and Kaden, correct. Manan, wrong. Marcus, wrong. Sophie, simplify. It's not the simplest form yet. Kenny says correct. May I know who's not done with 1 before I move on? No, all done? Okay. Olivia, answer wrong. Let's look at question 2. Okay, at a fruit stall, the number of oranges is 3/5 the number of apples. There are 30% more apples than pears. What fraction of the total fruits are pears? So in the first sentence, okay, what we want to do is to express everything into ratio. Then we find common base. Okay, so the first sentence tells us that orange to apples will be this 3 for oranges. Apples will be 5. So 3 to 5. Then there are 30% more apples than pears. Okay, you have to remember this. In a sentence with percentage, the one at the back of the sentence is always 100%. So if you're comparing, they are saying that there's 30% more apples than pears. So you see, than pears. Okay, so then pears means pears 100%. Okay, so identify your 100% first. Then you find what is the other one. So in terms of ratio A to P, what is it? Your pears will be 100. What about the apples? Apples is 30% more. So it should be 130. Okay? 130 to 100. Not 30 to 100, because it's 30% more. So we simplify this becomes 13 to 10. Okay, then we find common base. What is the common base? You have apples here, right? So it's quite straightforward. You have the same group here, which is apple. So we change it to multiple of 5 and 13. So 5 times 13, 13 times 5, which is 65. And this is also 65. So this is times 13. This will be times 5. Underline your common base. Now read the questions. What fraction of the total are pairs? So if pairs is 50, right? What is the total? Total is 39 plus 65 plus 50. 39, 65, 50. This will give us 154. Then you want pairs, so pairs is 50. 50 out of 154. You always need to simplify it. So it becomes, you divide by 2, 25 over 77. Okay, question 3. John, Peter, and Yenny shared $390. The amount of money Peter received was 4/7 the amount of money Yenny received. John received 50% as much as Peter. How much money did Peter receive? Okay, again, put everything into ratio. First, you have 4 over 7. What's 4? What's 7? Peter, 4 for Peter. Then 7 for the one at the back, which is Yenny. Okay, so P to Y is 4 to 7. Then next, we have a percentage. Now, this percentage is comparing between John and Peter. So like I said, in a sentence with percentage, the one at the back of the sentence is always 100%. Identify your 100% first. Who is 100%? Peter. So Peter is 100. What about John? Is it 50 or is it 150? Is this 50% more or 50% less or 50% as much? This 50% as much, right? So John is just 50%. So 50 to 100. Okay, so this one is not 150 because it's not 50% more. Simplify 50 to 100 is 1 to 2. Then we find the common base. What is the common base? If you compare the two ratios, common base is Peter. Right? You have Peter here, you have Peter here. So we want to make Peter the same. This 2 can be changed to 4. So I noticed some students like to see like, oh, if this is a 4, this is a 2, then I change both to 8. But actually no need. You just need to change this to 4. Okay, some of you might have done that, right? Okay, I mean, if you change to 8, no problem. You still get the same answer. But you try to make the number smaller whenever possible. Okay, so the only value given in the question is this $390. This $390 is the total of all three of them. So the total of all three of them, how many units is that? 4, 7, and John 2. Okay, 4 units, 7 units, 2 units, which gives us 13 units. So this total of 13 units is $390. So what do you do next? And you find 1 unit, right? 1 unit is 390 divided by 13, which is 30. Then read the question. What are you trying to find? They're asking, how much did Peter receive? Peter, 4 units. So we times 4. 30 times 4, 120. So answer $120. Make sure you write your units. Okay. Question 4, right? If you notice in your worksheet, they actually say concept 3 percentage change finding value, right? But actually the header is wrong. Can I just cancel out? Audrey, yes, correct. Just cancel out the header because this is actually a concept 2 question. Concept 3 percentage change is the one where you compare the 2 different years and then whether there's an increase or decrease, that one. Okay, but it's not this question. Okay, question 4, which is the same concept as the previous question. Crate A contained 40% more mangoes than crate B. Crate C has 20% less mangoes than crate A. Given that crate C has 36 more mangoes than B, how many mangoes are there in A? Again, we have percentage. We want to change it into ratio so that it's easier to see in terms of units. Do not be tricked into thinking that, oh, if A is 40% more than B, then C is less than A. So then you take like 40 plus 20 or 40 minus 20. Cannot do that. Because this 40% is between this A and B. The comparison is between A and B. And this 20% is between C and A. So there is like 2 different scenarios, like in a way, 2 different situations. Okay, you're comparing different things. Cannot add them. Braden, wrong. A number of you got 252. Is it because you're at the 40 plus 20 or 40 minus 20 or something like that? Okay, don't do that. Okay, let's look at the first sentence. 40%. So remember I said you need to identify your 100%, right? In a sentence with percentage, the one at the back is always 100%. So crate B is the 100%. Okay, then we write down the ratio A to B. What is A, what's B? B I know is 100. What about A? A is not 40%, but 40% more than B. So if B is 100, A will be 140. So we have changed this to units. You don't need to write the percent sign inside. So you simplify this, you'll get 7 to 5. Okay, that's from the first sentence. One set of ratio. Now we look at the second sentence. The second set of ratio, C has 20% less than A. So again, identify which one is your 100%. In a sentence with percentage, the one at the back is always 100%. So A must be 100. So if you write C to A is 100. What about C? C is 20% less than A. So if A is 100, C will be 100 minus 20. Okay, then you get 80 to 100. Simplify 4 to 5. Then you find common base, right? Ratio means you need to find common base. What's the common base between these two ratios? A to B, C to A, common base is A. A is a 7, A is a 5. Common multiple, 35. So for this one is times 5, right? And this one times 7. Okay, common base found. Next, read the question. There's only one value given in the question, which is the 36. 36 is the difference between C and B. Now we compare C and B. 28 and 25. So 28 minus 25, difference is 3 units. 3 units is 36. 1 unit, 36 divided by 3, which is 12. How many mangoes are there in crate A? Then you look at A. A, how many units? A is 35 units. So 35 times 12 to get the answer. Okay, so answer 420 mangoes. So a few questions you need to ask yourself if you got question 5 wrong. Do you use ratio? Do you write the correct ratios, especially the P to Y? You may want to check that. Do you find common base? Find common base. Okay, question 5. So ratio, make sure you put everything to ratio and find common base. Okay, so the part that you might have gotten wrong, right? Maybe this one. So you can try again as I explained. Based on what I said, in a sentence with percentage, the one at the back is always 100%. Figure out what's your 100% first. Okay? So Amber has half as much as Peter. Peter has 15% as much as Yenny. So we are supposed to express Yenny's savings as a percentage of, Amber's savings as a percentage of Yenny's savings. Okay, first sentence. Amber has half as much as Peter. Ratio, A to P. If A is half of P, then A is smaller one, right? So 1 to 2. Next, P to Y. Again, the sentence with percentage, the one at the back is always 100%. Yenny is 100%. What is the ratio P to Y? Is it 15 to 100? Or is it 115 to 100? Or is it 85 to 100? 15% as much. Okay, not more, not less, but as much. So 15 to 100. We simplify this, you get 3 to 20. All right, then common base. Common base, A to P, P to Y. Common base is P, right? You have P in both. Find the common multiple. 2 and 3. Common multiple is 6. So here times 3, here times 2. Common base done. Now, no values are given, but they want us to express Amber's savings as a percentage of Yenny's savings. Again, if the word percentage makes you feel like you don't know how to do, change it to fraction. So express Amber's savings as a fraction of Yenny's savings. If you want to express Amber's as a fraction of Yenny, then of Yenny means that Yenny is in the denominator. Okay? Yenny is in the denominator. Or maybe if you got this wrong because you got this fraction wrong. Olivia, yes, correct. So this one, this Amber over Yenny, right? Then you want percentage times 100%. Amber is 3, Yenny is 40 times 100%. Okay, so answer 7.5%. Now remember to write down the percentage sign for this 100. It's like a unit. So you just write it down, but not key into your calculator. Okay, it should be K times 100, not times 100%. Don't type in percent into your calculator. Question 6 says, leave your answer as a mixed number. If you're going to write down decimal, then you need to check. Mixed number. Okay, let's look at question 6. Okay, box has 400 beads, while box B, oh, sorry, this one, the A missing, box A. Box A has 400, box B 650. If Amber removes half of the beads in box A and 1/5 from box B, how many percent less beads would A have than B? Leave your answer as a mixed number. Okay, I want you to focus on how many less beads would A have than B. Okay, we're talking about the number of beads left, right? Left, how many less beads left? How many beads will there be left in box A? We are removing half of the beads in A. So the amount left is also half. So half of 400. Half of 400 is half times 400. No, wrong. Then how about B? Like if you're removing 1/5 from B, right? We're removing 1/5 from B, right? So the amount left is 4/5. You want to find like 4/5 of 650. So we take 4/5 times 650. So take note, if you want to find left straight away, you just take times 4/5. Okay, not 1/5, 4/5. If you do 1/5, then you need to do one more step. You need to take 650 minus that. Okay, anyway, how many less beads would A have than B? How many less? And you take 520 minus 200, right? So the difference is 520 minus 200. So how many percent less beads would A have than B? The fraction you should form before you change to percentage is difference over, is it difference over A or difference over B? Now they say A, they say then box B. We're comparing A against B. If it's then box B, then B is below. All right, so this is, you need to understand the phrasing of the question. We're comparing how many A less than B is below. You want to change the percentage times 100%. So the difference is 320 over 520. Then times 100%. Key into your calculator, not decimal, but mixed number. Mixed number will be, you'll get 61 and 7 over 13%. So for question 7, those who got this one wrong, right? You check the last step. It has to be difference over who. So it must be then that thing, then that thing there is the denominator. No, okay, let's move on to 7. Okay, John had 40 boxes of chocolates and each box contained 5 chocolates. Peter had 20 bags. Each bag contained 25. How many percent less chocolates did John have than Peter? Again, let's find how many less chocolates. Okay, you're going to find the difference first. How many less chocolates before we find the percentage? And I'm sure you all can find that, right? So, John, how many? 40 boxes of 5, 40 times 5. Peter, 20 bags of 25. So, 20 times 25. How many less chocolates? You find the difference. So 500 minus 200, which is 300. Now comes the difficult part of the question is that you want to change it to percentage, right? You want to find the percentage difference. So it is difference over who? Remember just now I say depends on what the question, how the question phrased. If it's then Peter is in the denominator. You want percentage? Take the fraction times 100%. So which one over which one? 300 is the difference. So 300 over Peter. 300 over 500. Times 100%. 60%. Okay, so answer is 60%.